Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're on GT Sport and we're back with a track guide for the FIA Nations race that is taking place on Saturday at Spa in the Group 1 cars. So we're not going to do a track guide for the manufacturer race because I already have, I think, 2 to 3 different cars with track guides already on the channel, possibly with different tyres as well. So go and check them out. They're in the playlist for track guides. There should be multiple Interlagos track guides already on the channel. However, this is a combination that I don't believe I've ever done as a track guide. Group 1 at Spa in the Audi R18. Now I'm using the Audi R18 for this track guide because we have done an FIA race before at this combination. Last time we did it, we actually got a win in top split. Now there is two, I think there is a decision on which car you're going to use. I'm going to probably go with the R18 with the hybrid. I understand that the hybrid is going to fade out during the race. However, last time we did this, it actually maintained pretty good speed because the way the track is, there is some braking zones and you can regenerate a little bit of hybrid, enough just to counteract against, I think it's a Peugeot that might be the other car that some people use, the diesel Peugeot LMP1 car. So that might be the alternative. However, this car for qualifying, I think, is the preferred choice. I think it's going to get you the faster lap over the Peugeot. So again, with this combination, it's going to be very much about dirty air. I probably would recommend either going this or the Peugeot. The Peugeot can compete, like I say, but I'm going to go with the car that I prefer driving. I prefer driving the Audi R18. So I'm going to test this in some practice lobbies first, in terms of test lobbies. If something has changed in terms of my decision for a race car, I will let you know in probably a different video. I'm considering doing a strategy guide for this race and the manufacturer's race. Hopefully get that out either Thursday or Friday before both races take place to help you out with strategy. We're going to go in depth. I'm actually going to do a lobby, hopefully practicing all the settings, and we'll try and figure out the best strategy or alternative strategies. Anyway, for this video we're going to go into the track guide, trying to spot all the braking points, giving you some advice to try and get you as fast around this track as possible. Now this lap we've got is a solid lap. It's not the best lap I could possibly get. Obviously there was a couple of errors in it, but I did this morning very quickly just for a track guide, improved on the time I'd previously done, just to give you more advice in terms of getting the best out of it. So you see they're braking pretty much dead on the 100 board on the left hand side, just a fraction short of it, and you can see we're going to brake in a straight line for quite a while before, after the 50 board, we're going to actually start putting our inputs in. You'll see after the 50 boards, and as we hit that shadow, you can see we're almost turning and the left hand tyre is just about skimming the edge of the shadow as we aim to hit our right hand tyre onto that green bit of Astro, almost just skimming the curb. On the throttle nice and early, you see we went down to first gear, then into second gear, and then into third gear, shook quickly as we accelerate out of the corner and using that hybrid up. Now through this corner it is completely flat out, but what you will see is I go into 6th gear fairly early. You'll see the line we want to take is one of cutting onto the left hand side over the curb and really straight lining up here. You'll see early into 6th gear, skimming the curb on the right hand side, take some of this off at the top. It's very important to almost straight line over the top of this. It's almost a cut. You are going slightly over the white line on the right hand side, however it really does help with your straight line speed. It's not a massive gain, but it could be enough for half a tenth of a second, which is very important when it comes to FIA qualifying. It could be the difference between a few places. Then into the next braking zone at the start of the curb, you see on the left hand side, that's what I use as my braking reference, just past 100 board, down through the gears, down into third gear, trying to hold as close to these curbs on the right side as possible without hitting them bollards. Them bollards will really slow you down. Obviously they don't remove now, they did used to remove, but now they stay there and they will really halt your progress on your lap as we then try and swing it into this left hand corner. And again, you're going to get the car as much over to the left, and you see me swinging it over to the left, trying to get that car and all the weight to the left hand side before swinging it back into the next right hand corner, staying in third gear. You'll see a little lift off the throttle there just to try and get the car in and rotate the front end a little bit. Early upshift into 4th gear and accelerating now down into the tight right hand corner, which again we're going to use that curb on the left hand side as our start of our braking reference. It's quite a good reference to use, just braking just short of that, and again staying very close to the right hand side. I like to keep it very tight to here. You'll see trying to keep it on the camber. The camber runs off down the left, so you want to stay to the right hand side. If you go left of that white line, you run the risk of running very wide. So you see keeping it nice and tight to the right hand side, on the throttle nice and early, accelerating out, using the hybrid again, and again you're going to use that little bit of the tyre marks on the right hand side as kind of a reference for the braking. That's pretty much the only reference you can get from there. And again, swinging it into this left hand corner, you'll see the line we're going to take. We're going to swing it from the curb and just skim to the apex here. Again, you want to avoid getting anywhere near them bollards, because if you do hit them, it's going to ruin your lap again, obviously with the way they slow you down. Again, running out wide, don't run too far wide, just use a bit of the curb. If you run too far wide there, you lose a lot of momentum with the acceleration off this car. And again, using the warning signal on the top right there as our brake reference for this very fast flowing left hand corner down into 4th gear, you want to almost skim the white line with your left hand tire. I actually turned in a little bit early. You can see that the line we're taking there, that we're going to end up going up the curb a little bit, which is not what you want. You're going to lose a tenth or half a tenth there. You see how the car unsettles itself. I would much rather have just skimmed that and kept the car flowing with more momentum through that corner. But yeah, that was a little bit of a mistake there. Maybe lost half a tenth to a tenth of a second just on that corner. Now into the next braking zone, we're going to use that 50 board on the left hand side, the start of the curb, another reference. They're both exactly the same point for a reference for braking. And make sure you brake just before that. You can see the braking inputs are going in a good 10 to 15 foot before that, down into 3rd gear. And again, trying to stay very close to this curb on the right side without hitting these bollards. It's so important. I keep mentioning it, but it's very important not to hit them bollards. Now staying in 3rd gear, playing with the throttle a little bit just so that we don't get too much momentum and run off wide out of this left hand corner. And again, avoiding the 2 bollards there. I'm going to keep pointing these out because they're very important to avoid. Again, on the throttle nice. Now, I actually could have extended a little bit more then. Maybe could have got on the throttle fraction early. Lost a little bit of time there. And then, again, braking a little bit short of the curb on the left-hand side. You see I leave myself quite a bit of distance before that curb to make sure that we get the car into this apex. Again, them bollards, you want to avoid them, but they're not really in play because of the way the corner is. Accelerating out of this corner in 3rd gear, early upshift into 4th. Accelerate, you skim the curb on the right side. Again, avoid that bollard on the right-hand side. It's not really in play, but it's a flat-out corner, but you might if you turn in a little bit too early, but just be careful you don't hit it. Now, accelerating flat out all the way to the final corner. This fast left-hand corner isn't really a braking zone. It's completely flat. Skim the apex, keep the throttle completely down. Now into the braking zone where we're going to brake just past the 150 board. You can see the end of the shadow there. Make sure you're braking kind of in between the end of the shadow and the 150 board, down through the gears into 2nd gear, and then almost down into 1st gear. And then you want to kind of rotate the car when you go into 1st gear and get onto that bit of green Astro on the right side. You can do it and it'll gain you a lot of time. You see I braked a little bit wrong there, missed it, and then because of that we've missed the apex there, so a tenth or so lost on the final corner, and it kind of caused us a little bit of an issue of getting on the throttle. If you would have got that right, could have gained a bit more time. So yeah, if you can really rotate the car and get on that green bit of Astro, you will gain a lot of time. I've actually watched Baptist's lap how he does that, and it does gain you quite a bit. So I think there's a 54.0 to 54.1 in this for me. I'm not sure if I can get a 53. It'd have to be a very, very good lap if I was to grind out this time trial. But like I say, we jumped on this morning, did a quick lap. I've edited this and we've got this out. So yeah, I will possibly go back into the time trial and just try and keep improving, as well as we're going to do the practice lobby so that we can give you the track guide as we watch this lap from the chase camera. And you're going to really see how you've got to get very close to these bollards without actually hitting them. It's really important. You'll see as we go through this corner again. I'll try and highlight it again here as you see the bollards there. You're almost skimming them, and again, you've got to rotate this car, get the car back to the left. You see the way we swing that car from left to right, rotating the weight, getting the weight transfer to really chuck the car into the corner. Again, you look how I stay very close to this curb on the right side because I don't want the camber of the corner. You can actually see the slope on the corner. If you run off down that left hand side, you lose quite a bit of momentum, quite a bit of time, probably a tenth or two if you run too far wide on that corner. And then again here you see how we turned in that little bit too early, got up on the curb, again a little bit of time loss there, but only a tenth at the most with momentum out of the corner. And then into the next braking zone, down to 3rd gear. You can see again getting very close to the bollards, but again you do want to make sure you avoid them, because if you do hit them you will lose a bit of time. And again there we could have been a bit more aggressive on the throttle coming out of that corner. I think maybe a bit conservative with just trying to get a lap in for this track guide, and now we powered our way down the last bit of straight through to the final corner. Now one thing you're going to bear in mind for qualifying, this guide should serve you very well now because we don't have fuel in qualifying. However, in the race, when you have the fuel on board and you're going to be using mediums and hard tyres as well, possibly for a number of laps, just bear in mind that you're going to have to shorten lengthen the braking distances. Sorry, make sure that you brake a little bit earlier because the mediums won't have as much grip as the soft, and the hards are going to have a lot less in total. So yeah, just bear that in mind with your braking references, that each tyre and the more fuel you've got on board is going to slightly affect the speed that you can take through some of these corners, and also your braking references. Not by a massive amount, but it will slightly change them as you'll brake slightly earlier with the harder compound tyres. So I'm going to let you watch now the video from the start of the lap without any commentary. Hope you enjoyed this video, hope it helps you out. Let me know in them comment sections if it's helped you out. I'll try to get this out nice and early for you to give you as much time to practice for this race on Saturday, as we have got that 1 week gap. Anyway, thanks again for watching everyone. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, I'll see you all very soon. Thanks again everyone.